Hi everyone, welcome. It's Friday. I guess that doesn't mean a whole lot these days. It's just another day of, some scary stuff happening in the world. So let's talk about some of the positive things that are also happening. I have spent a lot of time thinking recently, a lot of time to do that. And one of the things that I was thinking about was how fortunate we are to have this medium. And I don't say that lightly. In many ways, I have been very much a critic of social media in many of its forms. I believe in many ways it has brought more division and more separation to our country. At least, and of course I'm an old fellow, right? So I'm basing this on my own history. I remember making friends by letter. That's right. I had pen pals that I would exchange letters to, and sometimes for months and months and months, and in one case over several years, and in one case one that's lasted me over 40 years. That's right. And what's a pen pal? That's someone that you write on paper. You write a letter to, you put it in an envelope, you stamp it, and you mail it off. Now, I realize that may sound antiquated to many folks. What a waste of paper, a natural resource, stamps and postage and the fuel that it costs to transport those and all of those things. I completely understand that consideration. And on that same token, what kind of energy are we taking away from the planet by using the internet and all those tools? I mean, look at what Amazon has done to the planet. All those deliveries that weren't happening before. But then again, we were going in our cars, all of us. All those Amazon deliveries, well, we were either doing without, which I think is most likely the case. We didn't make those kind of impulse purchases, right? It wasn't so easy just to go online and enter your credit card and the next day it would be there, right? But we're now seeing the downside of that too. With this virus, there are delays in those shipping, and there are people working in those factories that are having issues. Why do I bring all this up? I want to talk about the positive side of all of this and what I personally have decided. Now, I know I'm babbling and I'm supposed to be making soap, and my hands are covered in coconut oil. Well, we're going to be talking about coconut oil in just a moment. But the positive aspect is that we have this ability, that I have the ability to speak to you, that you have the ability to message me or hear from me and others. There are experts out there that you can certainly reach out to with questions about the virus or about anything else. There is knowledge out there. But does that all make up for warm human touch? No, it doesn't. But then again, I've dieted many times throughout my life. Does a rice cake make up for a cheesecake? No, it doesn't. But you have to decide on what the worth of the benefit is. Does dropping 5 pounds before a reunion mean something to you? Well, then perhaps rice cakes will taste pretty good to you, at least momentarily. And there's so many other ways around. I personally love good old American cheese. I like Borden. That happens to be my favorite when I make a grilled cheese sandwich. And I'm a cheese snob about a lot of cheese. I love a good Gruyere. I love a good blue cheese. I love Swiss. I love a lot of different cheeses from all over the world. I'm not going to lie and say I don't. Of course, goat cheese is my favorite, but that's between you and I. But I love just American cheese when I have grilled cheese sandwich. I don't think any other cheese tastes the same. I don't like cheddar on grilled cheese. I just like old bland American cheese, and I like Borden. That happens to be my favorite. Yours may be a different one. Maybe you like Kraft or Velveeta or whatever the case may be. Anyway, I'm sorry. As always, I get off track. But where I'm going with this is this kind of media and being able to talk and chat like this is a substitution. And I'll be the first to admit that. Or the first to actually scream it out. Yes, it's a substitution. It's not the same. But it is a worthy substitution. I treasure this time. I treasure watching other people's videos, listening to other people. I can see that we all now have a common enemy. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, conservative, liberal, black, white, tall, short, whether or not you have a mental ability that is different than someone else's, whether or not you have scars, whether or not you can walk or not, it doesn't matter. The one thing we all share is a fear and a healthy respect of this virus, I hope. That is sort of also what this is all about. 100% coconut oil. I've made 100% coconut oil soaps before. Many of us who make soap have. It can have its downsides. It can be a little drying. That's why you want to superfat quite a bit when you're making it. Unless you're making a liquid soap. Zero superfat those liquid soaps if you're making a coconut liquid soap. But this one is also superfatted, but this has a different intention behind it. I'm going to use my heart molds, and I'm going to call this one heart to hand, hand to heart. I haven't quite put it together yet. By the time you see this video, I'm sure I will have come up with something. But these are just going to be simple hand washing soaps. So these aren't meant to be moisturizing soaps that you shower with and you bathe with. These are for getting those hands good and clean and without exfoliation. There are plenty of mechanic soaps out there and gardener soaps, and I have many of them in my own repertoire. Now this is just a good bubbly and a little bit creamy because of a couple changes I'm making to the I'm doing a water discount and I'm superfatting it in such a way where it will be a little more, it won't be so drying. Okay, it'll be really cleansing, but not quite so drying. And it's in these nice compact hearts so that it will be much more luxurious and fun to use too, I think, and pretty. All right, so let me get this melted down. And let me get my goat milk, and we're going to get started. Oh yeah, goat milk, hello. That's why it won't be drying. I knew I was going to just say something else. Of course, it's going to be the water in this will be my goat milk, fresh goat milk. And I'm really looking forward to putting this together for you. So this is going to be very similar to my Purity soap. But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to fragrance it or not. I'll decide by the end of this video. I think not, though. I think I want to keep this one pure and simple, like my Tender and Mild. Just something very clean, simple, and like I said, compact and easy to use. All right, so let me get this melted and we'll get to making soap. All right, so now we're going to get our goat milk ready here. So I know I get a little babbly sometimes. It's just, I guess, being here alone. And I'm not here alone all the time. I have friends that come by. Matter of fact, I had a lady friend that was here for a few days. It was really a nice visit. And this happened, by the way. This was already planned. This person had already come to town. Just about the time this all had started kicking in with the virus. So it's not like we planned this. But luckily, all is well. She's healthy, I'm healthy, so nothing bad has happened. Of course, you know, anything can happen, but we did try to be as hygienic as we could and washed our hands a lot and all those sort of things. So it's nice. I occasionally get these kind of visitors, not very often, maybe once a year, every few years, so not very often. And this was not a romantic thing. This is a friendship thing. So anyway, doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, so yeah, it's been just a time for me to do a lot of reflecting, as I'm sure many of you are too. I just am, there are so many people that are affected. Well, we're all affected. That's where this is different than almost anything else in my lifetime. Well, I'm not going to say that there haven't been events that affected us all. 9/11 obviously affected us all. The Kennedy assassination affected us all. Well, all of us that were alive during those times, that is. So yeah, there are events that affect us all. But those are strictly, as a rule, emotional or psychological kind of things which cannot be undervaluated or underestimated, and the importance certainly should never be be ignored in regard to those. It's very important. But what I'm saying is this is something that could potentially affect all of us. We could all have someone die in our friends or our families, and that is, oops, got it rather high up there, didn't I? This is something that could affect us all in so many ways, and those we care about, those we love, and that's frightening. I know it is. My parents are gone. My siblings are gone. So the way I look at these things may be different than the way some others do. As I've stated, I'm more of a hermit type, but that doesn't mean I want people to die or people to be sick or people to feel bad or be sad. This does affect us all. And even, I try to be upbeat, but I will tell you that this has been kind of bumming me out, on some days. I'm not always in the greatest mood. Just today, I got just rather feeling, a little spooked by all of this. If this really goes on as long as they say, what are we going to do about food and groceries and those sort of things? Because they're sure not available, at least in the stores here. Luckily, I'm able to grow things, but not everybody has that luxury. And by the way, it's not the cure-all to everything for me either. I get a little tired of kale and spinach only. I have other things, ready, but they won't be ready to eat until this late spring and summer. So anyway, it just is, one of those things that we have to think. But I was thinking about that today. People that can't get to their medicines and those kind of shortages, what a frightening thing that must be for people. I'm fortunate that I'm not on meds, that I'm in pretty good health, certainly comparatively speaking. I would like to think that even if I got this virus, I could survive it, and that would be that, even at my age. But you never know. You hear about these people in their 20s and 30s, right? All right, so I've almost got the goat milk completely melted here, a few little flecks there. And then we'll get our coconut milk. And I have been thinking about adding some grapefruit essential oil. I have an abundance of grapefruit right now. I thought maybe a little grapefruit and a little mint. Nothing extravagant, just enough to give it a mild fragrance. I know I've done several citrus recently with orange and tangerine and several essential oils, and I like those. But citrus is very good for cleaning your hands, and it just seems to make sense. So I thought maybe a little lemon and a little grapefruit and a little mint. I know I keep changing it, but that's how I work. There's a fleck. I hope that's not off the spatula. I don't know what that is, but I'm getting it out of here and I'll wipe that off. All right. Okay, good. So our goat milk is ready. So I'm going to set this aside and get our oils. Okay. Ooh, that's really full, isn't it? I'm so bad that way. I have a larger container, and I like this one. My lovely friend, subscriber, Kenya, sent me this, and I use it so much. It's all scratched up in the bottom. I've used it so much, but I just love it. And Kenya, I hope you know I still love it. Oh, I need my stick blender, which I washed. It's in the other room. I'm messy, aren't I? It's funny, I've heard like Kenny over at Royal Appleberry call herself the messy soaper. I don't think she's got anything on me. What do you think? They smell tremendous. I will tell you, thinking these came out a little pink, which coconut oil can do that sometimes. And in this case, I think it's kind of neat that they have a kind of a pink hue to them. I really like these type of hearts. They kind of remind me of like a little pillow or a little cushion. They smell so good. The grapefruit, the lemon, and then the bit of peppermint gives it just a delicious, delicious smell. I think that these really will be great, either in the kitchen or in the powder room. This isn't coming off the soaps, it's coming off the molds where I was so messy with them. The soaps themselves come out pretty clean, but I made such a mess when I was pouring them. So I'm getting little flakes off of the mold itself as I pull them out. So I think more than anything that we all need to try and mend some fences. What do I mean by that? Let's try to be nicer to each other. And I'm not referring to you and me. We all get along pretty well, even though we have differences. We have different lifestyles, we may have different religious beliefs, we may have different, all sorts of ideals and differences that make us different. But right now we're all fighting for our lives. Literally. This is a fight to survive. And for some of us, I know it's a lonely fight because we're locked up alone. One of our wonderful subscribers here has been locked in her home for weeks and weeks, and looks like she's going to have to remain there for a bit longer. Now she's in the UK, and she's just a dear, lovely, lovely person. And it's just so sad to think that she's having to, live this way. But that's the nature of this insidious virus that we're dealing with right now. But we have a common enemy, right? This disease, this virus, this plague that is upon us. And it doesn't matter who we voted for. It doesn't matter who we love. All those things, our silly prejudices and bigotries, really should be just placed on the back burner forever, I would like to think. It's just too important right now that we come together to help each other survive this. These are really tough times for a lot of people. And would you not help your neighbor because they had a different political belief than you if they needed you? Hang on one second here. I just need to set these molds aside. Would you not help your neighbor because they had a different religious belief than you, or lack of a religious belief? Would you not help them if they were hungry or in need? What if they loved in a different way than you do? What if their skin color is different than yours? What if their age is way outside yours? What if they're bald? What if they're fat? What if they're gay? What if they're short? What if they're, 1,000 different things that make us different, that make us unique? What does that matter? If you needed help, would you refuse the help of any of those people? If they were crying for help, or if they were hungry, if they were lonely, if they were in need of anything at all, could you say no to that? Knowing you, I don't think you could. And that, my friends, is one lesson that if we can learn in all of this, if we can take anything from this virus, from this awful thing that's happening to us all, the one thing that I hope that we can learn from this is that love for one another can heal a lot of wounds. Now, am I saying that it will do away with this disease? No, of course not. That can't happen. But it can certainly make getting through it a lot easier. So think about that. Rather than calling names to people that may share different ideals than you, different religious beliefs, different concepts, try to remember they're just trying to survive just like you are. So have a heart and know I love you. And I only wish you the best during all of this. I look forward to talking to you all again soon. These will be ready pretty quick because, well, they're coconut and coconut. These were just a few hours from the time I poured them, was able to take them out of the mold because they harden so quickly. But these will be ready in a few weeks. I'll have them in the store. And yeah. Thanks, everyone. I really do appreciate you. You take care, and we'll talk again soon. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.